Hi, I'm Rafi. Welcome to my channel. And on my channel, we talk about fragrances usually, but we talk about them in a philosophical way. And I like to call that Fragrant Philosophy. So let's kick off with our topic for today and the title of this video. I cheat, and that is why I win. I've decided to cheat. It pretty much guarantees success. It reduces my anxiety. Hell, it even allows me to consider playing the game. I reckon cheating's got a pretty bad rap most of the time. I guess you could consider it, you could probably just reframe it, actually. You could probably just reframe it and call it competitive advantage. Yeah, competitive advantage. That's what I'm going to call it, because everyone's free to cheat. It's your fault if you're not doing it. Bro, relax. Hey, bro, relax, all right? Don't try to guilt me into this misguided sense of altruism and honesty, because I consider that cheating too, because you're using your competitive advantage to prey on those who were weak-willed enough to actually fall for this shit. Ain't nobody got time for that. But what I do have time for is certainty. Winning. A wise man once said, "You can't fight a battle you know you'll win." I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. But really, I think I kind of agree with that, because, you know, you can't fight a battle you know you're going to win, because there is no fight. It's a foregone conclusion. Something like that, I think. I mean, can you imagine how good your life would be if you cheated enough to introduce a high level of certainty? You want that job, that raise, that promotion, that business deal? You got it. You want that girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife or ethot? You got it. All you need to do is cheat. And today I am cheating with this. This is ISO-E Super, also known as isoeugenol. And if you don't know what this is, ISO-E Super is basically a chemical that gives your fragrances a bit of a boost and a bit of a kick in the projection and longevity department. It's used in pretty much almost every fragrance that's out there now commercially available. And it also kind of has its own scent. It's kind of like this fuzzy woody thing going on as well, which I kind of like. And you go nose blind to it really quickly. God. Yeah, you go nose blind to it pretty quickly, but somehow, weirdly enough, you can still kind of smell wafts of it coming off your sillage. Now, there is another popular chemical like this, which is called ambroxan or ambroxide, if you want to be specific, but that one just doesn't agree with my skin. So I went with ISO-E Super. So I bought this to layer with some fragrances, 7 fragrances to be exact. Why 7? Because it sounds scientific. 7 fragrances that have really poor performance on my skin, which I thought could be boosted by using ISO-E Super. What an experiment, right? So I thought I'd use the ISO-E Super and see how these fragrances would perform. Isn't that like the worst kind of tragedy? That the beauty you adore is just too fleeting, and it leaves you with this sense of dissatisfaction, or almost like a disdain for it when you encounter it again? No? Just me, I guess. Anyway, I tried all these fragrances on my skin, and whilst the ISO-E Super did change some of the scents, I kind of liked it. Kind of like what it did to it. So the way that you typically would use something like this is you would like spray it on, and I might do that now actually. I might just declothe my arm like this and give myself a bit of a spray like this, like that. You're supposed to pretty much douse it like this, and now you're supposed to wait maybe about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Okay, I'm kind of tired of waiting, so I'm just gonna move along with the video. It's been like maybe 2 minutes, so yeah. So what you're supposed to do is spray it on anyway and wait for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then spray on the fragrance on top of that, and it's supposed to give it a little bit of kick. It's supposed to make it sort of bounce off your skin a little bit more, and it's supposed to give it a bit more longer lasting power. And I also did try it the other way where you just spray on the fragrance first and then you spray on the ISO-E Super, but I think it worked better the other way around. And I also had some vials that I decanted fragrances into with the ISO-E Super, and that kind of didn't work because of one key reason, and that is because I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I'm spraying chemicals onto my skin, which is a long way better than what I was doing with chemicals in my youth. Thank goodness social media wasn't around back then. Anyway, moving on to this list of 7 fragrances, and the first one that I tried it on is this one right here. This is YSL's L'Homme. This is classic from 2006. This release, this bottle is not from 2006, but it's still a very lovely scent. And as you can see, this 200 ml bottle, I've gone through quite a bit of it. I really like it. This is one of the designers that I still wear and I'm happy to wear. It's a perfect, beautiful spring daytime when the sun is shining, but it's not really that hot. And it just works beautifully in that kind of setting. And I tried it with the ISO-E Super, and it gave it a little bit of a woody backbone, and it did actually increase the longevity. It didn't really make it bounce hugely off my skin, but then again, this isn't really one of those projectors. It's quite close to, it stays quite close to your skin, so it didn't really improve it that much in that sense. But yeah, L'Homme, if you haven't tried this one out, try it out, and if you have some ISO-E Super, you might make it go a little bit longer in its distance. The next one I tried it on is a perennial summer favorite of mine, and it is 3 AM by Sean John. And as you can see with the amount that's left in this particular bottle, there's not much left, and that's 2 reasons for that. One is because, again, the purpose of this video, because it's got really poor longevity. The other one is because the atomizer on this thing, well, I don't know if you can call it an atomizer or you can call it a fire hose. Well, that didn't work very well. Like that. Did you see this? Amazing. What a scent. Absolutely love this scent, actually. It's like this creamy sort of pina colada kind of thing going on with this sort of vacation vibe. And I'm breathing it in right now and I'm tasting it. And it doesn't taste like what it smells like. It just tastes like really bitter sort of chemicals. But yeah, this one, I didn't think that it changed it so much. It really kept the balance of those top notes in there as well, kept it quite fresh. But it did actually give it a little bit more projection than I thought it would give it. Longevity, again, on this, it was okay, but the day that I tried it on, it wasn't hot, and this performs better when it's hot. So I guess I can't judge it on that. Maybe I'll wait for another hot day and try my Sean John with a little bit of a boost from Mr. ISO-E Super. The next fragrance you might be surprised to find on this list is none other than Elysium by Roja Parfums, Raja. It's okay, some people, this gets mixed reviews because some people get really good performance with their Elysium Parfum cologne. I don't. And for all the people in the comments saying, maybe you got a fake, maybe. No, I didn't get a fake. I bought this directly from Roja's website, unless they sent me. No. We're not even going to talk about that. It's a legit Roja fragrance. It just doesn't last that long on my skin. And this worked awesomely because this lasted all day after I had applied it over the top of the ISO-E Super. So if you're having issues with this one, and one thing that I noticed, what it did is it actually rounded out the grapefruit that's in here and made the base a little bit more fuzzy, musky, cashmere-y kind of smell. What can I say? It's like a soft velvet. It made it smoother. I mean, as smooth as this is already, it kind of gave it a little bit more smoothness. And I thought, that's cool. The next one I've talked about maybe once or twice on my channel, and that is Coriandre by Jean Couturier, a classic from the 1970s. This isn't from the 1970s. This bottle it's a new formulation, relatively new formulation. I adore this scent. It's a nice floral. It's got that coriander seed sort of thing going on in there, but it's not too prominent. This actually changed quite a bit with the ISOE Super, I must say. The scent kind of took on its own thing, and I would say that the ISOE Super took over the scent of this one, which is odd, but that's what happened to it. I just tested it out and that's what happened. But yeah, if you haven't checked this one out, this is actually really good. It's a really nice cheapie as well. And by all accounts, I hear it hasn't changed all that much from the original formulation from the 1970s. I haven't tested the original out. I think they're kind of hard to find here where I am. But yeah, if you can try this out and try it out maybe with a little bit of ISOE Super just to give it a little bit more of a boost. And the next one that I tried it out with is this one here. I don't even think you could possibly tell what this is. This is Gardenia. It's a parfum. This one that I've got here is a parfum by Chanel, and it is one of my favorite Chanel scents. So good, but tragedy is that it is so fleeting and it doesn't retain its gardenia top note smells. Now, gardenia is an awfully difficult thing to construct in a realistic manner because it's actually made up of other different floral notes that are combined together and balanced out to make it smell like gardenia. There's a lot of jasmine and other shit in here. But this one's done so well and so beautifully. Unfortunately, it just doesn't last. And unfortunately, this one, the ISOE Super, didn't really work very well. So it doesn't work with everything. And all it did was give it like a jasmine-y sort of ISOE Super smell after a while. And so I guess maybe I'll have to find like a vintage eau de toilette of Gardenia to spray this on. Again, if you haven't tried Gardenia by Chanel, it's one of the best Chanels. Best Chanels. Simple, just done beautifully. And another one that I tried it on was these. These are classics. This is Clinique's. This is Happy for Men by Clinique. I've done a few commentaries about this particular fragrance. Now, why do I have two? This one is a current formulation, which is a 50 ml bottle, and I've almost finished. I think I'm more than halfway through this. Really like it. It no doubt makes me happy when I wear it, puts me in a happy mood. This is a vintage and it's lost its top notes, and I tried both of them. It actually worked with the vintage better than it did with the newer formulation. That was a strange one. It kind of did make it a little bit more smoother, elongated the bass notes in here, because in this one the top notes have kind of faded as they do over time. But yeah, Happy by Clinique. If you haven't checked this out, it's still available, and the new formulation is actually not too bad. And the very last one, and the last one, is this. It is White Musk for Men. Now, I don't think I've ever talked about this one. I think maybe I've mentioned it once in one video, and that is because I really like this scent. I really like White Musk for Men by The Body Shop. You can buy it there. It's kind of like a classic in its own right, and very cheap and very good for what it is. It's just, I mean, is there actual musk in here? No, there is no musk in here. But I've used up almost half of this, and this was like, for a long time, it was my dumb reach after a shower or just my relaxation kind of scent. It's actually quite nice, and I just wish that it had a little bit more oomph to it. And that's what the ISOE Super gave it. And it gave it really well. And as a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to wear on my arm. I think it's been about 20 minutes since I sprayed on the ISOE Super anyway. So I'm going to try this on. Oh, man. That's great. And that's it. That's the list of 7 poor performing fragrances that I have cheated with ISOE Super. Now, as successful as this experiment was, it kind of left me feeling a little bit empty, which usually happens when I think too much. Many fragrances out there on the market already use this chemical. It's already in there. If you look on the back, it says eugenol or isoeugenol or something like that. So why isn't it in every fragrance? And why isn't it amped up in the fragrances that it's actually in. I mean, it's not a natural chemical, so I guess it would be a pretty cheap aroma chemical ingredient, right? I mean, I bought this at like what you'd call retail, and it's a 50 ml bottle. It's an EDP concentration, and it was super cheap, which sort of made me think about if perfumers actually think about how their fragrances should die. And why, when we experience something beautiful, do we want to capture it, extend it, reenact it? Isn't impermanence supposed to be a part of beauty, subtlety, uncertainty? Isn't it beautiful not knowing how something you experience is actually going to turn out? No, it's not. And that is why you should cheat.
I wish I knew.